of the writers of today's stories used only their initials, so we will be using pseudonyms just to make it easier to follow the stories. The setting for this story is an extremely rural house in eastern Kentucky, the kind of place where you gotta drive 20 miles just to reach civilization. Cassie, who's about 10 years old, is playing fetch with a 90-pound German Shepherd who's just been retired from the canine police force. And she throws the ball, and it hits a tree to her right, which sends it going off behind her. And Max goes charging after it. And just then, the dog's body is thrown past her, and it hits a tree with a thud, and Max falls to the ground unconscious. Then a hard object smacks Cassie on the back of the head and knocks her out. And when she wakes up, she recognizes the area around her, and she knows she is in the deep woods. And she can also feel her body being dragged along the floor of the woods by her hair. And Cassie screams, scaring whatever it is that's dragging her, and it drops her. And she scrambles to her feet, and she starts running back in the direction of her home. And as she's running, she sneaks a glance behind her, and she sees a white, pale, emaciated figure with black eyes chasing her and gaining ground. And the crawler catches up to her and again grabs her by the hair. And with Cassie kicking and screaming, starts hauling her back deeper into the woods. And Cassie struggles in vain to get away, but the creature is just too strong for her. The crawler drags her into a riverbed and dunks her head in the water, trying to drown her. Then she hears a loud cracking sound, loud enough to be heard underwater, and the crawler lets go of her. And she pulls her head out of the water to see Max with his vice-like jaws clamped on the forearm of the crawler. And the arm is hanging limp, so she can tell it's broken. And the crawler tries and fails to lift Max. He just doesn't have the strength to do so. And Cassie runs off toward home, leaving Max to fight the crawler. And she runs, and when she finally gets home, she tells her parents what happened. And all three of them start a vigil, waiting for Max to come home. A day later, Max hasn't returned home. Another day passes, still no Max. On the evening of the third day, Max hobbles out of the woods, his body covered in cuts and gashes with dried blood around his mouth. Max made a full recovery and lived another 3 years after his bout with the crawler. A true canine hero.